The pro-life movement is the humanitarian movement of our time.
This strong pro-life, pro-family position attracted millions of voters, the Reagan Democrats, independents, and previous non-voters.
I'm a proud pro-life candidate.
I'm a pro-life president.
The most pro-life president in American history.
Republicans have spent over 30 years calling themselves pro-life, and it seemed to work because who's against life? So they have been coached for decades to respond to any question about abortion with, well, I'm pro-life and I make no apologies for it. But since the Dobbs ruling, when questions include, do you think this woman should have been left in a hospital parking lot to get sepsis before she got treatment? That rote answer, well, I'm pro-life, may not work as well. So now, as NBC News is reporting, Republicans are looking to move away from the term pro-life to stave off more election losses. At a meeting this week, Senate Republicans were presented with poll results that suggested voters are reacting differently to commonly used terms like pro-life and pro-choice in the wake of last year's Supreme Court decision. Quote, many voters think pro-life means you're for no exceptions in favor of abortion ever, Senator Josh Hawley said about the poll. And Senator Ted Young of Indiana says the meeting of Republican senators was about, get this, pro-baby policies. Asked whether pro-baby was going to be the new pro-life, Young said pro-baby was, quote, just a turn of my creation to demonstrate my concern for babies. Irene Carmona is a senior correspondent for New York Magazine covering gender, politics, and law, and she joins me now. I want to start, Irene, as I was reading the story today, it strikes me that in the annals of political messaging, certainly in my lifetime and even longer, pro-life is like up there in the top 5, like maybe with senior citizen, which is another just totally incredible term. Like pro-life is an incredibly effective way of coining your message. And it has been, and they have thought that, right, for decades. I mean, they have used it and the word life as a kind of siren call very effectively.
So much so, Chris, that actually people who supported abortion rights would tell pollsters that they were pro-life. As you said, who's against life? Pro-choice, by contrast, never satisfied anybody in the movement that supports abortion rights because it was wishy-washy and kind of libertarian. But as you well know, Republicans don't have a messaging problem. They have a woman getting sepsis problem. They have a teenager or preteen being forced to carry to term problem. They have a problem that the Alabama Attorney General says he will prosecute people who try to help people cross state lines to get an abortion. No language change in the world can occlude the reality of what these policies actually mean beyond the rhetoric.
That is extremely well said. And I think there's also part of it, too, that's almost deeper than rhetoric, which is conceptual. I mean, the point is that you're saying this is a human life and it has to be treated like a human life, the 6-week fetus. That has implications, moral implications, legal implications that they don't want to face, but are the actual implications of the thing that they're saying.
Look, even the alternative stretches conceptual reality, pro-baby, pro-life. I mean, the pro-throwing people off Medicaid or never extending it to them in the first place. Again, forcing people to give birth to fetuses or babies that will never be able to take more than a couple breaths and live in pain. I think when we see even the paltry policy solutions, it's nice to see something, but even this is kind of a weak scaffolding in the face of very hostile environments for low-income parents. I think even what they are suggesting as an alternative, pro-baby, pro-mother, anybody reading the news, I mean, voters are not stupid. We see again and again in referenda, in proxy elections that concern this issue, that voters actually really understand what is happening here. And so the attempt to kind of change the subject is not effective so far. And honestly, if the reality weren't so hideous, them backing away from pro-life would actually be kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, I take some humor in it because I have watched them use this for so long. I mean, this is all about politics, right? So this is some of the quotes from the Wall Street Journal story. This is a head of a nonprofit aligned with Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. The suburbs have been the killing field for Republican candidates the last few election cycles. And in the group's poll, 71% of suburban women said they were somewhat or strongly opposed to the Supreme Court decision. So they have a substance problem. They don't have a messaging problem. Here's how I think they understand it. And I want to give it to you and see what you think. I think they think that the extremes are what's killing them politically. The story of the woman who has to get sepsis in the parking lot, the story of the Texas woman who is forced to give birth and forced to carry to term a non-viable fetus, the woman in Florida who had to hold this baby who took 2 breaths before it died, that her father-in-law called state-sanctioned torture. They're like, if we can get rid of that, maybe we put some exceptions in and we got a consensus at 12 weeks, we're going to be good. That's what they think, and that's what they're going to try to message on. What do you think of that?
I don't agree that they even want to engage that much. What they are actually saying is that they want to go back to the old tried and true of focusing on later abortions, right? You actually hear a lot of those same Republicans saying, we actually, what we need is a 15-week ban, which Ron DeSantis did before he did, obviously, a 6-week ban. I actually don't even see them engaging those horrific cases except to say that it's somehow the doctor's fault or the pro-choice movement's fault. They want to change the subject to exceptions, which we can see in ample reporting do not exist even when they exist on paper. It's almost impossible to find a legal or a medical outlet for these exceptions. And they just want to go back to saying that it's Democrats who are extreme. And that's why you're also seeing people, at least rhetorically, not so much with their votes on the national level, but saying, okay, everybody should be supporting a 15-week ban. I believe that was the Senate Republican Campaign Committee position. Now, I think it was Alabama's Robin Marty who first pointed out that when they're talking about a national 15-week ban, they're not talking about, for example, abortion being legal in Alabama for the first 15 weeks.
That's exactly right.
They're talking about curtailing the rights of people in states like New York, California, Colorado, who have made it very clear that they want abortion to